One sec.
What's going on today, boys? Got a really special guest here on the Joe Throws podcast. Red Sox pitcher Hunter Dobbins. Hunter, how we doing today, man?
Doing good. Just getting some stuff squared away before I can start this rehab and working on getting back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, so uh, so me and Hunter have kind of connected a little bit in the last couple weeks, and I really appreciate you hopping on. Of course, really big fan of you. Me and James, we love the Sox. We love you. Love the stuff you've done for the team, and we just really appreciate you hopping on, man.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Love to kind of connect with different guys and talk about the
Yeah,
Sox.
yeah, for sure, for sure. For sure. So what was like when you first like got drafted by the Red Sox? What was like your first initial thoughts, obviously from Texas Tech, like because you got drafted in what 2021 or 22?
21.
Okay, yeah,
I mean, when you get drafted, it's a dream come true. You, it's you kind of take it in. I got to spend it with some family, um, and then you don't get a whole lot of time to really take it in because it's like 2 or 3 days later, you're on a plane headed to the complex, and you start going. So I was really happy that the Red Sox were one of two teams I was willing to sign with that year, and so kind of all came full circle that they took me, and I was ready to get to work. And I didn't really know what it was going to be like going forward because I was in the middle of Tommy John rehab. I just knew that rehab wise, I'd like the talks that I had with the Sox, and so got down there and got straight to work, and it's paid off.
yeah, that's awesome, awesome for sure. What was it like coming back from Tommy John, man? Like I know I got a few buddies of mine that had Tommy John and they struggled to honestly get back to like where they were before with their velocity and like command and all that. Like how were you able to overcome that like college to pro? Like that's a really big thing to overcome.
For me, it was I've always been a strike thrower. Never really struggled with locating the ball. So my biggest one was I knew I needed to get a lot stronger. I just mentally made sure that I stayed in a positive spot. Kind of leaned on the guys around me at that point. And because in my opinion, and I know this is different for everybody that has it, it was 90% mental. It was, you're in the weight room, you're doing the work, your body's feeling better. As long as you can kind of keep your head in the right spot in the right space, I feel like you have a better shot. But thankfully for me, you know, obviously nobody ever wants to get it, but right when I had it, I had just had a velo jump. So I mean, I had already known how to pitch at a high level at 89 to 91. And so when I came back from TJ and I was sitting, mid 90s, it was kind of like I really wasn't like chasing to get back somewhere. It was like I was just learning how to pitch at a new velocity anyways, and so it wasn't like I was chasing these high numbers to begin with.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Would you say, because I know for certain guys, and maybe I mean Joey hasn't had Tommy John, but I know for certain pitchers, some guys even come back and throw harder after Tommy John. Would you say that you maybe found a velocity bump after Tommy John, or
Yeah, I definitely threw. I'm throwing a lot harder after. Um, I think for me personally, it was I developed in the weight room a lot more. Because very very few times in this sport do you get 12 months to do nothing but just hammer the weight room. And so, if you kind of take care of business there and really take advantage of that time that it gives you, uh, you I don't see why you wouldn't come back throwing harder unless you're already one of those guys that throws 100. Uh, but no, I mean, I went from, 89, 91. I had right before surgery, I just had a bump up to 95. I touched a 98 once, but I was sitting pretty consistently like 94, 95. And now, I mean, I'm sitting 95 to 98 pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good number.
I would say I noticed that, like, and I had heard like big leaguers talk about it too. Like, I mean, look at Chris Sale. He went to the Braves and he started throwing a little bit harder last year, and kind of looked like himself even after Tommy John, and even I think and other pitchers too when they were on just coming off of Tommy John started throwing even a few miles an hour faster just because like you said they could just hit the weight room.
Yeah, I mean, hit the weight room, get the nutrition in a good spot. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And if you, especially at the professional level, all the resources that you get, if you take advantage of it, you honestly should come back stronger. And even if it's not throwing harder, your body will be in a much better position to handle a high workload.
Yeah, definitely.
So Hunter, you were like kind of in 24, you were kind of like mixed between double A and triple A. Like, how did you make that like leap to like obviously like what was like the biggest factor to going to like the big leagues in 25? Like, was it just grinding?
Yeah, 24, 25, we made some tweaks to the pitch arsenal. We added in the sweeper, a little bit more consistency there. But ultimately, it was, you know, you go to AAA, and with the ABS system, it's the smallest strike zone in baseball. It's they've done studies. The AAA strike zone is the by far the smallest, and the big league zone is almost comparable to the AA strike zone with umpires. So you get up there and you feel like you're throwing through a shoebox and through a small zone, and then all of a sudden you get back up to the big leagues, and you feel like you do have a little bit more room to work with. Granted, now you're facing the best hitters in the world. So I think for me, it was mainly like mentality wise. It's like, all right, you know, AAA hitters are still really good hitters. Like, and you had a smaller zone to work with, and you got them out. You did your job. Um, had a couple rough outings this year in AAA before I got called up, but uh, it's like it's one of those that you just have to remind yourself that you've been doing this, you've had success with it, so don't try to change who you are getting to the big leagues. Um, there's that shock and awe factor when you first get up there. You're like for me, it was like, man, I'm really facing Arenado right now, and you're like, if I leave this over here, I know for a fact he's going to launch this 100 feet over the monster,
Yeah,
and so it's like you just got to make sure, like mentally, you're prepared to execute at that level.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
Does
definitely.
what was your like first big league moment? Like, okay, this is crazy.
Uh, Honestly, probably the when Arenado got in the box because it's like that's a guy I've watched for a long time. It's you turn on the game and he's the big name on there, and then all of a sudden it's you see him standing there and you're like, I now have to get this dude out.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
crazy.
facing him was the biggest like man, like all right, I made it. I got to do this. The coolest moment to me though was after my warm up pitches, caught the ball from Bregman and got to stand up on the mound, and I kind of look up and take in like the press box of Fenway and all that like that. Like that was a really cool moment as well.
I'm
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Hunter, who would you say is the toughest pitcher you've had to face since being in the show, or the toughest hitters?
Toughest hitter, Judge is definitely up there. I'd say Bobby Witt. I know I got him. I think he went 0 for 3 with a couple punch outs, but the third one I think was about a foot away from being a bomb to straightaway center. Um, and so those two guys, and then Chase Mydroth would be the third one.
Mm-hmm.
So because I mean the
White
first
Sox
two
guy.
guys, I mean Judge, yeah, Judge, arguably the greatest hitter of our generation. Um, Bobby Witt, for a fact. I mean, exactly what he can do. I just thankfully I was executing really well, kind of living on a corners that night, so I was able to kind of get him a couple times, and then I made one mistake to him and left. I think it was a slider a little bit up, and like I said, he was about 6 inches away from taking it dead center. Um, but then my Droth was for a little different reason. Like I've played minor league ball with him a little bit. He's my roommate for spring training. Um, so there's a little bit of competition there. I was like, man, I really can't let this guy get a hit off me. Like I'll hear about it, and also knowing that he's not going to strike out. So it was like I had to be perfect, or else he was going to make me throw 10 pitches.
Yeah. Now Hunter, you had a quote that really stuck out to me when you said, coming in, I think when you first started against the Yankees, you said, if the Yankees were the only team to offer me a contract, I'd retire. And that was, that was something that stuck out to me because, and I'm sure Joey can attest to this too, as somebody who's been, a lifelong diehard Red Sox fan. I have friends that are Yankees fans, and they still to this day don't know why I hate the Yankees so much. And I'm like, I feel like I just have to. I'm a Red Sox fan. I have to. I said, after all the turmoil you put us through for years, I said, I have to. And so, and I like that you kind of channeled your inner Ken Griffey Jr. with that quote.
Yeah, it was, that whole thing really blew up a whole lot more than I thought it would. I was like, I don't know why everybody's so shocked that a Red Sox fan and player from small town Texas would feel that way. I feel like that anybody could probably guess that. And,
Yeah.
it was, I got asked like how I was feeling about my first game and like how I felt like being there. And, I said it, meant it. And it's like one of those is like this is the rivalry. I'm not supposed to want to be here. I don't want to play there, like, and here we are, kind of 2-0, and we're hunting them down in the standings. So it's like the rivalry's there. We're playing good baseball, and I'm hoping that here pretty soon we'll be looking back in the rearview mirror at them if we keep playing some good baseball. But no, that was an interesting time for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. So there's a lot of guys like in the clubhouse, I say for the Red Sox that are like really good players. Obviously, I mean they've been so good, won 10 in a row, which is awesome. Like when you walk in the room, like who's the guy like that you're like, man, like this is like a surreal feeling to like be in the same clubhouse as, or someone that's like been a mentor to you, like on the pitching staff. Like who's a guy that's been there for you since like your debut, you would say.
So there's two guys that really stand out. Bregman is a huge one. I'm from College Station, Texas, which isn't far from Houston. So I mean, I watched him play for the Astros quite a bit. Um, Absolute great player, even better person. He looks out for all of us. I remember going into my start in San Francisco right before I got hurt with my forearm. I was like, hey man, like how would you attack this guy? Or what would you do here? And he just sends me a breakdown of their entire lineup of like, this is how you need to pitch them. And I was like, I love that. Like he's trying to help out all of us rookie guys. He's teaching us how to break down video and all that at that level. And then pitching staff wise, we have a pretty young pitching staff. But I mean, I've had a lot of talks with Crochet, kind of, you know, how he goes about business, how he looks at hitters, like whenever we're sitting in the dugout watching the game and neither one of us are pitching, like what is he looking for in that game? So, I mean, those would be definitely the two big guys that have kind of helped me out the most this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, and sorry to cut you off, Joey. I would say everybody has a kind of unique ritual in terms of, pitching and preparing for a game. And one that was always interesting to me, I've heard Lucas Giolito talk about how he faces the team he's going to face on MLB The Show the night before his start. Definitely one that I don't think I've ever heard of before, somebody playing a video game against, the team he's going to face. But I figured to each their own, and that's what makes baseball unique. Have you ever, thought about maybe doing anything like that or kind of, talking to Lucas about that?
I heard about that, and it works for him. And the way those video games are now, they got those scouting reports almost dialed in, especially on the hitters. Um, I couldn't do that because I think they still have like two pitches that I don't even throw on there. Um, but no, my biggest thing is like getting prepared wise is if I face those hitters, if I've you know gotten that guy to strike out before, I'll just kind of try to like go in and watch those videos of like, all right, what did I do well against these guys, and what do I need to do again? So for me, it's just watching some video and drinking a Dr Pepper while doing it.
Yeah, I heard
And
about
Yeah,
that one.
outside of that, just trust my stuff the next day.
That's awesome. For sure.
it's a good
For sure.
answer.
So, a lot of young guys, like you said, on the team, and like, what stands out to you from like Marcelo and Roman and even like Christian Campbell, like those big three, like what do they do so special? Like even like on their off days or on the days or like, before the games, after the games. I know you talked about Bregman a little bit, but these guys are like tearing it up. Like they're being a big impact for the Sox in the last 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, I was drafted with Marcelo. I've pretty much been with Roman every step of the way. I think we played high A and up with each other. Um, Campbell flew through the system, so I got a little bit of time with him. Uh, but I think what those guys do so well is they have short term memory. Like Roman. His first week or two in the show, you can tell he'll probably be the first one to tell you he wasn't having the results he was wanting, but he never let it get him down. He never, changed it who he was in the locker room. Like the dude's been a great teammate, and it's simply because everybody, including him, knew it was a matter of time before he just exploded, and here we are now. Um, Marcelo does the same thing. He's one of those guys that he's a competitor. He wants to be the very best. He wants to be, you know, a part of this team for the next 15 years. And so, I mean, he's able to flush the bad, build off of the good. Um, and I mean, he's just an absolute freak athlete. He's one of my favorite guys I've ever played with. And it's been so cool watching him, grow up from the high school kid I was drafted with to now hopefully the long-term big leaguer. Um, and then Campbell's just an absolute freak athlete. Like the way that he makes that swing work and he just goes about his business, you can tell he's going to be great. I mean, everybody in the big leagues works hard, does what they're supposed to, and does extra. But that dude is just absolutely obsessed with his game, and I'm ready to see him back up in Boston here soon.
Yes, sir. For sure. For sure. And then, like, what would you say? I know Bregman said this a couple months ago, like in the beginning of the season, like the team goes as Trevor Story goes. Like, what does Trevor Story do to impact like this team for especially like the last month? Like I know he struggled a lot in like May, and then like from June until now, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball, and like he's obviously probably one of the older guys. Like, what does he do for you guys every day?
I mean, he's one of the leaders in the locker room. Even when he was struggling earlier in the year, like that dude was the most even keeled guy in the locker room. Like he was there every day, putting in the work, leading by example, and if somebody needed something to be said, he was the one to say it. Especially in a locker room, I feel like that's so young. A guy like that is just absolutely you can't put a price tag on that. That dude has been the best of the best, and being able to have him and Bregman both to lean on and learn from, it's been great. And watching when he's hot, it's so much fun watching him hit. It's like you're sitting there almost like, all right, how far is this one gonna go? All right, how hard is this one coming off the bat? Because he's gonna put a good at bat together. Something's about to get hit hard. You almost feel bad for the other pitcher. Um, and so now he's been, about as valuable as it can get when it comes to just being everything from in the locker room, on the field, in the dugout, and everything.
Yeah, for sure. It shows for sure.
Yeah, Joey beat me to the punch. I was going to ask about Trevor Story. And I would say with him too, and and I'm sure Joey, will tell you, we were every Red Sox fan was frustrated early in the season, just in general, not even with Trevor Story, just in general with how we were playing. But seeing it now, I'm ecstatic for what the future holds. Although we got a really tough schedule the second half of the year, but I think we just beat a really good Rays team, swept a really good Rays team. So, I think we're going to come out of this fine. But also to that side of the coin, do you think that Trevor Story, kind of finding it and now it improved his defense? Do you think that kind of improved everyone's defense as a whole? Because that's a spot the Sox have struggled at times this year, and Trevor's starting to pick it again.
Yeah, I mean, even earlier in the year when I was standing on the mound and I saw Bregman or Marcelo at third, Story at short, um, Hamilton or Campbell at second base. Like there was never a time that I was up on the mound where I was like, oh man, like I don't want them to hit it there. Like I trust those guys 100% no matter who's standing out there. But you know, with us playing some good defense, we're hitting the ball well, we're pitching really well. Um, you know, this team's got a very high ceiling, and it's you know kind of like the theme of the talk is we're a very young team, and I think it was Jeff, is it Passan? I never say his name right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Passan, but he said it very well. It's like sometimes it takes 100 games for a young team to come together. It might have been Rosenthal. It was during the draft or all three,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're like young teams normally take a while to come together, and I think that unfortunately I'm not out for the year, but I felt like the team's really starting to find its identity and grow together and play together as one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just made me think of this. Like if you watch, like I'm sure you watched the comeback documentary about the '04 team, and it made me think about maybe the little things is what it takes to get a team going. Like Kevin Millar doing the captain of the idiots thing, and then it got him or whatever, and it got him. You guys have the Wally helmet in the dugout, or now you have Romy saying he's just tremendously locked in,
Yep.
and you taken that and ran with it.
Yeah, I mean the vibes on this team are insane. I mean, uh, there's something new like every day that the team just kind of runs with, and we have a good time, and we enjoy it. The locker room, the last month has been such a great place to be. Like it's you walk in and you're like you instantly just have this feeling of like, man, I want to be here. I'm happy to be here. Let's really get to work and let's win some ball games. So no, it's been a lot of fun, and this team is going to be really good for years to come. I'm just unfortunately I only get to watch for the rest of the year, but I'm excited to watch to see what they do the rest of the year.
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure. What's been like your favorite road trip so far? Like your road stadium you've been to it in the big leagues?
Oh man, um, loved be or like finally going to Oracle. I've That's always been a stadium I wanted to see. Bad memory there. Forum decided to take the night off.
Yeah.
The But I think my favorite stadium to play at outside of Fenway is Royal Stadium,
Really?
Kauffman. I love that
Nice.
place. Yep,
It's nice. It's beautiful.
yep, yeah. Love the waterfalls and all of that, and also that was semi close to home, so I had a lot of family there, and
Yeah.
so that was my favorite one.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Joey.
Yeah, I mean, so Hunter, what do you for your pitches, were you like when you first got called up, were you more like did you like you change your pitch grips at all when Bailey came up? Was he very like let's just use what you got already, or did he help you like switch it up to make you even better than you already are?
No, I mean when you go up, you have what you have.
Yeah.
Bailey is very in tune with what's going on in AAA. So like if you need to add pitches, you need to tweak stuff. That's where we really try to do it is in AAA.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like what they're doing with Kyle Harrison right now. The
Oh
dude's
yeah.
elite.
Yeah.
They're just trying to tweak some things to see what they can maximize. So no, I tinker it a little bit. That's just who I am. Like, I'm always trying to find different ways to be better no matter where I'm at. So I tinkered a little bit, some very slight changes. Like my last start, we were trying to get more ride on my fastball, and I was finally starting to figure it out, the feel for it. Looks like we're gonna have to put that on the shelf until spring training. But no, I mean, you get up there, you just try to maximize what you're doing and attack hitters with it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What's your favorite pitch to throw?
Cool.
Now that I throw hard, my fastball,
Yeah,
but my go to is definitely the curveball.
yeah, yeah. Your slider's pretty was pretty nasty in the Yankees. You threw a sweep. It says on the TV it always says sweeper and a slider. It's like I don't know how you feel
Yeah.
about like
It's a,
your take on that stuff.
Well, the so I throw both. My slider's normally like 88 to 90, and then I'll throw the sweeper in the low 80s.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, they're both sliders. Just the sweeper's almost the new word for more of a slurve action.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
yeah. I got you for sure. Yeah.
would you say what would you say is like the toughest part about like learning a new pitch, especially like if it happens at the pro level as opposed to like when you were in high school or college?
confidence in it. I mean, especially when you get to pro ball, everybody knows you can spin it, you can figure it out. It's just you can throw it as many times as you want with a good shape and good velocity, good location in a bullpen. But finally taking that step of having the confidence to take it into a game and actually try it against hitters, it is the struggle. Especially like it's a little bit different now. Um, whenever, oh, sorry about that. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit different now, like being in the big leagues. When you go back down, you're like, all right, I know that I can compete up there. Let me just work on this one thing, do that, and then I'll go back up. But especially like if you're a guy in Double A and they're like, hey, we want you to start trying to throw this because we think it'll help you get to Triple A. Well, your career's riding on that pitch almost. So it's definitely a big mental challenge, but sometimes you just gotta trust it and go for it.
For
So
sure.
I know a lot of people like, especially nowadays is like velocity is king. Like it's the most like that's what gets you, noticed. Like what would you say if like you're a high school kid or like a college kid that struggles to like gain velocity? Like what would you say is like the biggest thing for that?
Ugh, this is the one that can get me in trouble. Because I'm not a big believer in the weighted ball programs and everything. They are absolutely great for certain guys. Certain guys respond really well to it. I, for one, am one that I respond terribly to it. I do it. All it does is cause me pain. Long toss, best way to do it. Grab a ball, warm up, throw it as far as you can, and watch how you slowly are able to throw it further and further. Well, to throw it further, what are you doing? You're throwing it harder. Um, so I mean, just listen to your body. But at the end of the day, if you can throw strikes and pitch, there's a place in the game for you. I mean, there's to this day, there's still guys that are starting pitchers in the big leagues and they sit, 90, 91, 92. Granted, that's still throwing pretty hard, especially if you're a high school kid. But it's like, I mean, I spent the first 2 years of my college career throwing fastballs in the 80s. Like, find a way, just throw strikes, trust yourself, and let your body mature, and then you'll start throwing harder.
Yeah, because I was a pitcher in college and man, like plyo balls, I felt the same way. Like plyo balls just never really worked for me. Like I always felt, my patterning was always off. Like because all it really is just getting your arm more on time. Like I feel like it has nothing to do with like your actual body, to me at least. It's more of like just getting your arm warmed up to me. And I never really saw a big jump from plyo balls. So I just wanted that. That's why I asked. So
Yeah.
for sure, because a lot of
Yeah. I
coaches
mean,
that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do a plyo ball warm up routine. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I never throw anything heavier than a baseball forward more than like 25% intensity. It's more of moving my shoulder and just kind of getting it active. And then as soon as I start actually putting some intensity behind it, I'm right back down to a 5 ounce ball.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and I would say whatever routine Joey was doing this year at work, because Joey shoved on the mound this year for sure.
Oh, there
Absolute
we go.
absolute doors, and Joe stepped on the hill.
Good to hear.
Sir. Yeah. So,
Um,
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
say my
that's
next
that's
question for you is go ahead.
what?
Um, oh, sorry, I said go ahead, Joey. I thought you were starting to talk.
No, 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 no.
And I was gonna say, Hunter, what's your like biggest advice you would give to, maybe a high school pitcher or a college pitcher trying to, work their way up through the ranks and like make it to the show? Or
Um, I'd say stay within yourself, know who you are. Don't let anybody change who you are. I mean, coming up through the ranks, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of coaches, not necessarily like Red Sox people, but, you know, people that would, I talk to them about, oh, this will make you better. And it's like, you know what? No, I don't think so. So, know who you are, trust yourself, stick to your guns, and um, be real cautious who you take advice from. In this game, there's a lot of players trying to reach that top level. And there's a lot of coaches out there that call themselves experts that really don't know anything. They're just watching YouTube videos and trying to go off of whatever they think is possible. But just choose your uh, choose your advisors carefully and trust yourself.
great advice.
Hunter, who would you say is like? I got one last question. Who would you say is like your the person you talk to the most from the Sox, like on the team?
Um, I talked to David Hamilton a lot. He's another Texas guy, played at UT, so we kind of naturally have that rivalry, kind of mess with each other about. But outside of him, I mean, I talked to all the starting pitchers quite a bit as well. But probably Crochet or Fitz were the main two that I talked to.
Yeah, that's a good. Those are two good dudes to talk to, or three good guys to talk to, I'd say.
Yep, absolutely. And there's honestly not a guy on that roster that isn't fun to
Yeah,
talk to or just a good dude.
yeah. I mean, I bet Chapman's in there. I bet Chapman's in there before the game, just like pumping iron and then going out there throwing 105. It's crazy.
That's Yeah, his routine
Unbelievable.
is insane, and
He's
I don't
unbelievable.
know how he does it.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, that dude is
He's
something
30,
else.
102. Like,
That,
James, do you have any more questions? Because I think we're running out of time.
I think
Hunter,
I'm
man,
good.
I really appreciate you hopping on our podcast, man. It was it's a joy, man. Obviously, being big Red Sox fans, and obviously, we hope your recovery goes really well, and hope to see you in spring training. And you know, maybe I'll catch you at a Rays or a Sox game again. But man, it was a pleasure, man, for sure. I appreciate it.
It was dream come true,
I
and best in recovery.
I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one, and hopefully we have a good year, and I can hop back on and catch up with y'all again next year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Be awesome.
So,
See you,
y'all
Hunter.